Hello and welcome to episode number 162 of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. It's the secret show. Our subtitle, Mark Sargent, is the What's in the Box show.
What's in the box? Movie reference. Anybody get that in chat? Movie
in
reference.
Live chat. Let us know where that
my
reference
inflection would
comes
have given
from.
it away. What's in the box?
Well, we've got boxes and we're
do.
not afraid to open them.
Nope.
So we're going to be doing that in a couple of seconds from right now.
Question is, what's more interesting, yours or mine?
That's a very good
See?
question. You know where mine emanates from, right?
But I don't know what's in it.
Right.
And you know what mine is, but you haven't seen it live.
Okay, so let's be each other. You tell me what's in the box. No, you tell me in my box, who's it from?
Your box is from Flat Earth designer Chris Pontius.
Yes, indeed. Everyone take a look at this.
The Earth is flat. Yeah, he actually puts those on the things he sends to people so that the delivery people, every person along the delivery chain is aware of the propaganda.
It's pretty cool. And
yeah. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you don't? I
nope.
know it's, well, I know what's in it, but I haven't opened it yet. It's still sealed. And the thumbnail for this video has picture of this on my front doorstep with my cats looking on.
Chris Pontius, by the way, the same guy that sent me these cool little flat Earth models he's going to be bringing to the conference, made out of wood. And you got, like, this one's got the AE map on one side and then the Gleason's map on the other side.
Yeah, we showed those last week on the secret show. Yep. Okay, so what's in your box? Well, you're going to tell us, but your box comes from Amazon.
Well, because I came up with it. Well, as I was looking, and the reason I asked Chris, I know I'm not on camera. I asked Chris for these. Yeah, I was the one that gave him the idea. I go, these would be really, really cool. One, because they fit in bags really easily. You can put it in a suitcase a lot easier than you can with something with it.
My evening bags, it won't fit in there. Joke.
I'm not talking about a clutch purse. I'm talking totally straight saying that, by the way. Straight guys can actually use the word clutch purse. Not on the night of the Tonys, though. But anyway, these are great because you can carry out, but they're great physical examples. You'll see what I mean once I open up this box, because this box is related to this. It's a 2 or 3 part thing that I'm doing.
Well, I'm going to open this Chris Pontius thing now with scissors and prying. So there could be an injury happening.
That would imply that you actually bleed. And I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to have to gnaw on this for a minute.
Seriously?
I should have pre-opened.
Why didn't you open this before the show?
Because I wanted to surprise myself.
Because
I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
I was busy picking between 83 different evening gowns.
Yes, pretty much. And earrings.
And earrings. That were last worn in 1994. It
was 92. Sorry. Got that.
Fine.
All right, I've got it pried open. It's a styrofoam.
Anyway, while Patricia is struggling with this intro, I'd like to point out that Chris Pontius, you can look him up anytime you want on YouTube. It's not the jackass Chris Pontius. Just type in Chris Pontius flat, and you'll see the models that he makes. Makes some great stuff. He's also making dabbling into the coffee table world, but he's making some, and he's going to be doing a booth at the conference in Raleigh, North Carolina this fall.
That's going to be so fun. I can't wait. And information about the Flat Earth Conference is in the description box of this and every video of mine.
Yep.
So
and I'm doing a promo every Saturday, and you can find out more details at fe2017.com.
Very good, Mark Sargent.
Thank you.
Do you want to show what's in your box first?
Oh my Lord, you really can't get this thing open fast enough.
I got it open. Look, it's open. It's
okay,
ready.
Let's do it. Let's pull this thing out.
Right.
Well, no, because mine's going to take longer.
Well,
to explain. Yours will probably be.
Okay, I'm taking it out. This is just so cool. Okay. That thing that I just broke.
That was an integral part of the mechanism that was, seriously, I have no idea what he sent you, because everything he sent me was in an actual box, not a tube.
Okay, this is going on my 4th wall, and I'll make a video showing it too. I'm not going to put it up now because I can't, because we're in the middle of a show.
Which means your stagehands actually have to build a 4th wall. Absolutely great. I'm sure they love you for that.
So this is amazing. Okay, this plugs in and lights up.
Oh, you dropped the AC adapter.
Look, yeah, the Earth.
Do you have a plug nearby?
No, not exactly.
But that lights up.
Yes, this
And
lights up.
that's the version that you can hang an inside house. Seriously, what did you drop? Because there's the plug.
Looks like it's a remote from what I can tell. Isn't that?
Oh, that probably held up well from a drop.
Yeah, it wasn't that. Anyway, so this, thanks to Chris Pontius, this is incredible, wonderful, cool, looks so awesome in this studio. And I want to plug it in so everyone can see it, but I don't have any plugs.
Yeah, we'll save it for next episode.
Yeah, I'll turn the camera around next time and we'll do it.
That's cool.
So
that's really
Chris Pontius, thank you. And as Mark said, it's easy to find Chris Pontius and order some of his fantastic merchandise.
Yeah.
All right. So what's in your box?
What's in my box? My box here, I'm going to have to put this microphone off to the side. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. And this is the
the remote
wireless
remote. That's really cool because I know, and now that I saw it, I was going, okay, that's why it shipped into two. Because I remember when he was building these. And
this is beautiful. It's real wood. And not stimulated wood. That's a joke. Stimulated wood. I meant simulated, but I like saying stimulated wood. It's funny.
Really? Stimulated?
It's real wood. Okay, so let's show yours.
The episode, the stimulated wood episode. Seriously, that's the title of a nerd porn movie.
Stimulated wood.
All right, so in here I've got. Okay, I'll just take it out of the box. I've got, and you're probably wondering what this is. It's a bag of globes.
Nice.
And you're probably thinking, why? Why, Mark? Why in the world would you buy globes? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
The reason is because I've been kind of wrestling with this recently, where people are having a hard time with the visuals. One of the first questions they always throw at me is, "What's it like?" And I try. And people, again, we're talking about the lowest common denominator here. Lowest common denominator needs visual aids, plain and simple. They do, because that's the first question. It's like the Stanton Friedman when he was in that discussion, when he finally realized that I was physically talking about flat Earth, and he goes, "Well, how does that work?" And had we been doing a video call, I would have shown him this. I would have said, "Hey, this. But the thing is, this isn't enough, because you still have to. For me, the arguments, the debates have to compare the two. So let me put this microphone down for a second. You guys should be able to still hear me. So what I'm doing is I'm basically comparing this, globe versus the flat model. While Patricia's giving us a show in her.
No one could see me. I just stood up a minute ago. I had box dust on me. How does shake my skirt out? And
basically, and what I did was I bought the cheapest, cheesiest toy globe you can get. These are corporate stress balls. This is not even a good stress ball. A good stress ball would be like this kind of baseball here. It's kind of squishy and real good. It's squishy. But this thing has almost no squish to it all. I mean, it's just a piece of.
Because the powers that should not be don't want you to flatten the globe.
No, exactly. Well, no, it's just, I think this was made in China, and it's you buy these things. I got that entire bag, 24 of them for $17.
Come on, just say 33 of them. It sounds better.
33 globes. Yes, and I got them for $33. Actually, no, I got 24 for $17. And 24 and 17 equals. No, it's not. Still not. Huh?
Let's get Russian vids on the case.
Yeah, I know. We'll break this down. So what I wanted to show people was the difference between these two is that one makes a lot. In fact, let me compare this to the enclosed model that it was sent to me by the flatearth.store. And that is, what is easier to understand? This little globe thingy here that spins around, or some sort of enclosed model like this one, and where I turn it sideways and you can sort of see the inside. It's kind of like a sports stadium, and that is one versus the other. The difference is, well, the globe seems more natural to me, and that is no. The globe seems more natural to you because you were conditioned since you were very, very young. You're comfortable with the globe because you saw it. But if you were raised with this enclosed little system here, or just, for those people that are into the infinite plane, an infinite plane model, you'd be just as comfortable with it. See where I'm going with this? So it's a quick and easy visual aid that I can bring with me. And since they're so cheap and disposable, I can just throw it away if I have to, because who cares? This thing's a piece of crap. But what I was also trying to tell people is what I want to use this for is to really drive home the toy aspect of it. And that is, why do you think you live on a globe? Is it because of the picture that you saw? You're really trying to do it. It's too far away.
Nobody can see me, just you. Wait, hold on.
But I can see it, but it's still too far away.
All right, as long as I talk, everyone can see it, but you can't. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't.
No, that's all right.
Okay, wait. Can anyone see this?
Well, yeah, you can see it, but the letters are so small from that distance.
The cord goes, so.
The CGI cat's in the way.
Okay.
Interesting, though, that the CGI cat is interacting with the CGI display.
That's
I like it. No, next time we'll tell you what. For next show, get an extension cord. You can hold it up, and it'll be brilliant.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it on the wall by then.
Okay. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at is this. I got these little globes because, and I really encourage. In fact, I told Chris Pontius that he should like give these little globes away when he's at the conference, because it's a great with everybody that gets, anybody that gets one of his models, because it's easy for people to hold them and show them, to put them in a globalist face and say, okay, why do you believe in this? Why? And the reason is this, because it's not the picture. Wow. In fact, this globe is completely screwed up. It's not even that accurate. That's pretty.
It's not even that fake thing's not even accurate.
I mean, the continents are there, but whoa, it's rough. It's not great. Africa does not look like Africa. It looks like a shoe. So the point is that you believe in the globe, for those globalists that are listening to this right now, because you not because of the picture you remember. Nobody remembers the picture, unless we showed them the Apollo 17 picture. It's like, oh yeah, when I was a child. No, you believe in the globe because of this, because of a toy. That's why you believe in it. You believe it because of a cheap toy. The globes in the classroom, those are not that expensive. What, $20 maybe? This thing cost 70 cents. And you are more comfortable with this, literally, than you are the flat Earth model. The difference is that a flat Earth model, this is all you get. Whereas the globe is just the smallest part. The globe, it's the globe plus the entire galaxy around the globe. Whereas this is it. It's a self-contained system. I mean, yeah, you can say there's other things outside of it, but it's not nearly as vast as the solar system that's built around the globe. So anyway, it's a visual aid, and I'm going to use this when I'm talking or debating to any people, either live or on video things, just because it drives home the point. It's like, why do you buy this so completely? And that is because if you show an image, even as simple as this, when you're very, very young, we believe what's presented to us.
It's a toy.
It is a toy. That's all it is. That's all we've been programmed with over these years is the toy. When you're told you're 6 years old, in fact, I'm really surprised. Well, when we were going through school, they didn't have these throw around. These are just corporate promotional things. So these are blank ones that they usually put corporate names on, and then they hand them out at conferences, and then you take
global enterprises.
Well, yeah. But you take them home, you put them in your desk or at work, and then use them. It's a stress ball. It's supposed to be. It's a crappy stress ball. But if you give this to a 6-year-old and you say, oh yeah, this is where you live, why would they question it? They're not going to. Again, that's why people are hanging on so desperately to this thing, is because they've seen it for so long. It's a crappy image, but and one more thing real quick, which is, it's not just that. Here's the thing. Before 1972, this is all you had. Literally, this was all you had. Before 1972, before the first blue marble shot that was taken by Apollo 17, you just had different versions of this, some smaller, some bigger, and you had those for 20 plus generations. Your father and his father and his father before him, going on way before your family tree could even be recognized. This was there. Nobody had a chance. We didn't have a chance because you were born into it. Not to use a Matrix reference, but you were born into it, because not only were you shown this, but every member of your family line was shown this. So you were going to believe it because no one was going to contradict it. Not your father, not your grandfather. Nobody was.
It's a bigger version of the movie The Village, really.
It is.
You know the YouTuber D Marble, right?
I do.
Dee Marble's going to be my guest Thursday, the 25th of May at 3 p.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 GMT. And he's done all sorts of great things, but he mentioned one little sort of throwaway comment that I find very interesting. Maybe others have said it before him, but what he said is that why do the satellites, when they take a picture of Earth, always have it Earth oriented the way we all see it when we see the globe?
Right.
So there's no up and down in space, but why are all the satellite images and all the Apollo images?
Why isn't it sideways? Why isn't it upside down? Why isn't it 3/4? It's always northern, southern hemisphere.
Now, has science ever answered that question? Have
No,
they ever been asked that
question?
It's
not really a science question. It's more of a NASA. NASA, all they would do is say that, well, they want to, again, show the image that people are most comfortable with.
Yeah, they would say that, but that makes it even more fake if you want to believe in it. It's not just a composite image that we get, but it's also righted to look at what we're familiar with. I mean, that's just another blow to the globe right there, thanks to Dee Marble. So let me go into the live chat and see what's shaking here. Nathan Oakley, 1980, first comment I read, he's talking about boobies. That's what my kid cries. Yes, this is the quality entertainment we have here on this show. Everyone, including GeoShifter and IPS, Infinite Plane Society, have been saying hashtag RIP Stephen Hawkins. Toxic Lucidity is also putting that in there. GeoShifter did this video about Stephen being dead. And a lot of us did what normal people would do, Google it, see if he died. Well, no, but yes. So the new thing is saying that he's dead, because pretty much for all intents and purposes, even if they haven't announced that he's dead, he's been dead. And
I hope that gets traction, by the way.
You think it's going to get traction?
I hope it does.
Yeah. So if you have an opportunity to tweet it that, that Stephen Hawking is dead, all right, hashtag RIP Stephen Hawking's, do it. So that's courtesy of Infinite Plane Society and GeoShifter, who came out with a video. And Infinite Plane Society, IPS, did a live hangout about it earlier. There's so much to that story. I have a comment from Spakeface, great name, who says, RIP vegetable. Okay.
It's funny.
So anyway.
Cool.
Died in 1985, according to Allison Shanes, excuse me, maybe I got that last name wrong. Died at that time. We don't really even know. Okay, we don't know. Is his current incarnation a dummy? That, a stuffed thing that they have, like a Muppets, I guess you'd say. The English use of the word Muppet. The American usage of the word Muppet, not the English one. Animatronic creation, let's say.
I can see the necessity for him, though. I totally understand, because people, as the population gets less intelligent, as the population gets dumbed down, there rises a greater need for the wise sage in the corner. Mm-hmm. And we have so very few of those that can actually be leaned upon and speak from a media savvy standpoint, and he's not one of them. But if you make him talk in that robot voice, it actually works, regardless if he's not saying anything, which he's not. I mean, think of the people that we lean on for scientific credibility right now. You could literally list them off on one hand. You ready? Here we go. You know them all. NDT, Bill Nye, just still ludicrous. Michio Kaku, and Brian Cox. Those are those four guys can at least speak, and then throw in Stephen Hawking for the heck of it. After that, there is nobody in the media spotlight.
Right.
They are the men that we put out. No women, by the way. They're the men that we put out in front of camera that taught, tell us, Merlin, what do our fortunes, how will they play out over the next year? We shall go to Mars. Yeah.
Well, what about Star Trek and the character Christopher Pike? Remember, Starfleet officer wearing the gold shirt, kind of like Captain Kirk.
The
And
predecessor to William Shatner's Captain Kirk, yeah.
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair where he used a computer. It wasn't a wheelchair. It was a high-tech version of a wheelchair where he couldn't speak and move like before, but he did it through a computer. Yeah. And that's way before the whole Stephen Hawking thing went down.
Yeah, he could only answer in binary to where the machine would blink yes or no.
Right.
Whatever colored light it was. Interesting. Yeah, good one. Did you just think of that? Or did somebody in chat bring that up?
I just thought of it, but maybe other people have thought of it too.
That's impressive.
Old Star Trek stuff I watched all with my dad, so I remember.
Not just a pretty face.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Anyway, other people may have come up with that, and I'm not going to say that I'm coming up with an original thought. I mean, most of us used to watch Star Trek, the original episodes. At least I loved it.
Right.
Let's go into the live chat and see what's shaking, like I said a moment ago, and just, continue saying hi to everyone before I got kind of thrown off track by the thing with Stephen Hawking, which is a really cool thing to do, to just start tweeting that he's dead, because he is. I mean, it's amazing the things that they've lied to us about, and that they're continually telling us daily in our face. Agreed. All part of the same thing. And the whole Stephen Hawking thing, anyway, he was saying that aliens will kill us someday when we go into space and travel further, or they come here and kill us, or whatever it was that he quote unquote said. So that's pushing the alien agenda, and that there's planets and that there's space travel. So anyway, hello to Timaeus, and hey, Flat Earth Female. Jeremiah Abner says hello to you, Mark, and myself.
Hello.
Let's see. Timaeus says that I'm easily distracted. Sometimes. What'd you say?
What was that? Look, globes.
33 of them. Hi to Ginger Sugar Bush. Oh, this is interesting. Ginger says that Pike did that because they fired the actor. I don't know if that actually is a real behind the scenes story, or he's just joking. Shane Corning is here. Earlier, we had one of the most infamous trolls in Flat Earth who was here before we started our show. I don't know what he said or did, but I did see his name crossing through the live chat. Terry Elrod said Star Trek was programming us for Stephen Hawking. Hello to Plain Truth and EBK Devious D, and don't know what he's all about. Hello to MG24 Pillbox and Ace McLeod and Mark Twain. Hey, I've always liked Mark Twain. Don't know about this Mark Twain. Martin Liedtke, Alchemical Cosmology, Morgan Ellis. Gem Panda is in here. Gem Panda the Unbannable. That's his name here. So, in the live chat, we have people who are anti and pro Flat Earth. And as long as everybody acts nice, we're cool. We're cool with it. Joseph Lynch. And just hi to everybody. Flat Earth Alaska. Hey, Flat Earth Elected is here. Did I say Zulu 1? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Nora, No One's Flower. Be here in love, Nora. And if I have not said hi to you, Urk Childs and Jerry Cthulhu and Celebrate Truth, then it's because I don't like you, basically. No, it's just because it's too hard to read it all. But you know that I like you. I like almost everybody in Flat Earth. Almost. So I mentioned D Marble, coming on tomorrow with me. We've opened up our boxes. Might as well just shut the show down now. Quit while we're ahead.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
No, D Marble is cool because he made, for whatever reason, his little bring the spirit level on the plane thing. And I know you'll talk about it during the show, but broke into the mainstream search results.
Yes, it certainly did. An article was written, and we'll discuss that tomorrow on my interview with him. An article was written, and it's been shared around on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else, social media-wise, basically making fun of him and Flat Earth and saying that his experiment was flawed. However, boom, you should see the explosion of subscribers and comments on his channel. Right. And as D Marble himself was saying in one of his follow-up videos, if you want to shut Flat Earth down, don't write an article about a Flat Earther and share their YouTube channel, because people will, many of them will laugh and turn away, but some will say, wait a minute, I want to learn more. Yeah. And then they'll go.
And if you believe in the flip side of it, look, he used what was a $8 spirit level, which is perfectly legal on a plane. You know, there's nothing wrong. It's not a weapon in any way, shape, or form. And you could go on there, you know, with a spirit level in your cell phone, you can determine a lot about what's happening with that plane flight.
Yeah, as Jaron and Glowbusters have discussed with the cell phone in an app that that was discussed on those shows.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking that app is going to be discontinued mysteriously, closed, shut down, forever forgotten, and then they're going to have something new where spirit levels aren't allowed on.
Spirit level is considered a weapon, like
Exactly.
3 packs of matches or whatever it is.
Well, it'll be something along the lines of they've issued a terrorist alert because somebody attacked somebody else, and they brought a spirit level.
Yeah, like they filed it down and they turned it into like a prison shiv, like a toothbrush handle. Yeah. Well,
but
it's great. I'm glad he got it done though. That was fantastic. He's from here, by the way.
Yeah, he is. He's from Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah.
But he flies a lot, a couple times a month or something for work. But I don't want to give away the whole interview. That's
no.
He's a really interesting guy, and he seems really nice too.
Yeah.
But that'll be a great way, flat earthers, if you do bring spirit level on your, in your carry-on or by hand onto a plane, we'll know each other. Hey,
right.
Spirit level, you must be a flat earther.
Well, because it's so low key, and you put it on the tray table, and you make sure everything's nice and level, both sides, and because tray tables are supposed to be level, because it's supposed to hold drinks and crap, and you can keep it, well below the level. It's not like you have to, get a giant one out of your carry-on and people see a mile away. No, you can do it really low key. But I'm be curious if I can't wait for the story when somebody breaks out one and then the person next is like, oh, you're in, man, you're FE. Yeah, I'm FE.
Yeah.
What up? And then there's some weird high five and flat
handshakes.
Yeah, flat handshake. It's like, who knows how that is.
I don't know what that was. It this?
Probably one of these type deals. I don't know.
Funny. Yeah. Well, the P900s, spirit levels, and either your iPhone or your Android app. That's the all sponsoring Flat Earth accidentally. Seems like.
You wonder if the P900 guys at Nikon, although that's Japanese headquartered, you wonder, well, at least the American side, if they've already got word through the hallways.
Oh, they've got to have seen it.
They've had to have. Oh, yeah, you're right, because they go into YouTube. Somebody would have gone in and said, oh, yeah, I looked at the mountains with this P900. Then all of a sudden, it's like the first flat earth thing, if they like, whatever, wave it off. After about the 4th or 5th one, you're like, hey, Fred, come here for a second. What's happening with our cameras? As long as they're buying them, who cares?
Just imagine if you were that company and that happened with your business.
Yeah.
That's why any sort of business that's a flat earth business, I'm all for it. There will be a jump in your profits if you're doing something flat earth oriented. And I know people don't want to mix the truth and money, but we're living in a system where we need money at this point to live. So if you're doing something that can be used within the flat earth search for truth, keep on doing it.
Yeah. And people always gravitate to the easy. Say, I am sure there's plenty of cameras out there with a big zoom, but this is the one everyone's been gravitating towards.
Ooh. There's better ones now. There's something beyond the P900, or I guess
P900 run you what, $500, something like that.
Well, you can get them cheaper. There used to be waiting lists, and now
Somebody see if they can find a better zoom.
I think there is
a cheap camera. I mean, there's got to be a dirt cheap camera out there with a killer zoom. You'd think. Anyway,
let's see what else is going on. We've got someone whose name is Crazy Flat Lady. I love that name. Hey,
like the Crazy Cat Lady.
Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of ladies, I am going to be talking very soon in a future interview with Bling Bling of the ISS, but that's not the whole name. Bling Bling, the BSS of the ISS.
Oh, the BSS. Yeah, the ISS. No, what's the second S for in BS? The first BS, we get that, but what's the second S for? Like double?
Shoes? Because they don't wear shoes? I don't know.
It's not bad. It's not terrible. Hey, oh, by the way, I should probably bring up, because you guys, some people have asked me what happened to my show last night.
Oh, well, I was wondering what happened to your show last night, because I was listening to your show and it kept going off. And I had shared it on Twitter and Facebook, and I, settled in to listen, and it was a show from hell. What happened?
Yeah. Well, the show from hell, that was just a rerun of a previous show, because when I record the stuff you hear on YouTube, I edit all the dead parts.
Yeah, but it's funny. It was a you had a winds issue there
Yeah. So what happened was 45 minutes before, God, talk about horrible timing. I'm sitting there, the peanut gallery checks in with me, usually about an hour before the
and
show.
those
Hey.
who don't know, it's a friend who he doesn't want to name. So.
Yeah, he doesn't want anybody knows who he is. But Peanut Gallery is the guy that he's kind of in the background reminding me of things that I don't forget most of the time. Anyway.
Are you easily distracted too?
What was that? Look, it's in a closed system. So no, what happened was he messages me and he goes, oh, it's going to be a normal show. I go, yeah, I'm just going to take callers. 5 minutes after he says that, the wind picks up, because I'd heard, oh, your wind's going to come through Seattle area, and the room goes dark, and I'm going, oh, you got to be kidding me. Right? I'm going, okay, they can fix this. It's not that big a deal. Usually, falls in the power line, they can fix it. 8 hours later, the power comes back on, and that was it. I mean, the show basically, if you don't get in to log into your show, they just play a rerun. And so what you guys heard last night, I don't even know what episode it was, but they played a rerun of a show that I had done, but that show had technical problems. Because when I record TFR, they don't edit anything that goes wrong. So if I have a phone issue or a login issue with the station, they don't change that. So anything that goes in the archive is as is. When you hear it on YouTube, I get rid of all those parts because nobody wants to hear 6 or 7 minutes of dead air.
Right. It would sound like silence. The sound.
What? You're from
silence.
radio. You know dead air.
I know, from radio, dead air. It's the kiss of death. I worked at a radio station called Quad, KWOD in Sacramento, very short period of time in the 90s. And this station had what was like a school bell, the loudest old-fashioned metal school bell above the control board when you were a DJ. And I worked late nights and overnights. And anyway, this is when the band Radiohead came out. And a lot of Radiohead songs, if you're familiar with them, are very drifty. And it was overnights. And I also had another job. And I kind of fell asleep. And we were playing CDs back then. Overnight, maybe 3 a.m. or something, this drifty Radiohead song was playing. And all of a sudden, there was dead air. But I wasn't aware because I was sleeping. And this giant bell rang. And I was like, ah! And then played the next CD. So,
that's awesome.
Dead air in radio is 1 or 2 seconds of dead air. You could lose a massive amount of audience if somebody just clicked to that station at that moment and there's nothing on. They're going to click elsewhere, and that causes the radio station to lose advertising dollars, and then you get fired. So yeah.
Anyway, the point was, I missed my show last night. Sorry, guys. And sorry for people, because I know I don't date the shows usually. So the people that were actually calling the phone lines because they thought it was a live show.
Well, the part about the show that was so weird was what I'm trying to say is you were ready to go live. There was a power outage on Whidbey Island. Fine. They played a backup show. And in the backup show, it had technical difficulties, which is...
How's that for fun?
No.
Which I couldn't edit out. So yeah, you guys, you don't know. I do a lot of editing when I put them up on YouTube, because
hardest working man in Flat.
I am. Well, I don't know if that's true, but I do work pretty hard this time.
You know what? These days, there's so many people who are doing live show after live show after live show after live show after live show. Who knows who the hardest working man is in Flat Earth?
There's a lot of, I mean, at this point, I mean, you might as well you've been exposed in there.
Mm-hmm. IPS is doing hangouts.
IPS is doing a lot of stuff. I mean, in fact, if I type in here, I'm not going to do it right this second. But when you type in Flat Earth and set the filter to live, beforehand, you and I talked about this, where it used to be, maybe 1 or 2 a week. Now it's 8 or 9 a day. Yeah. That are happening.
Well, most of them, like right now, there's 300. I can't see. I only have a contact in one eye. Wait.
Do you want me to look?
357 live viewers. I don't know. I can't see. But what I'm saying is that
looking through her human eye.
I know, really. What am I trying to say? Hey, I'm
Or
losing
lizard
track of
eye
things.
is covered by hair.
I know people are going to say, "Oh, one eye symbolism." No, meaning that I can tell when there's other hangouts going because I can see the view count varying. Like, oh, well, there must be
Right.
another hangout going. So
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
think it's
there's a bunch of hangouts, and there's anti-flat
24/7, like ODD
Yeah.
lately.
And even though it's overwhelmingly pro, there's still anti-hangouts. I love the fact that there's anti-hangouts. That means that again, remember what we said, for or against, you've got to deal with flat Earth. It's that polarizing. Nobody's on the fence. You either like it or you hate it. And it's fantastic. So we have anti-flat Earth hangouts that are going every day as well. Most of them are horrible. They're poor productions, in my opinion.
Well, let's talk about something that mainstream people in the Matrix will chastise us for, but they probably won't be listening to the show anyway, so it doesn't matter, which is the event in Manchester that recently happened. It's May 2017, and so this just happened a few days ago. Pop singer Ariana Grande did a concert, and the title of her concert tour is something like the Most Dangerous Woman Tour, and she's got rabbit ears. And people have associated white rabbits with magicians and such, but it could be completely innocent, like a pretty girl playing on the Playboy bunny image. I have no idea. But the imagery of her and the black ears also shows a mask over her face. So it is a bit on the dark side.
Right.
All of that aside, Ariana Grande's music, I don't think I've ever heard one of her songs on purpose, but I bet I've been in a store or something and it's been on and it was just a poppy female song and I paid no attention because it's not my thing. And it's not meant for a 54-year-old woman, I don't think, to listen to. I think her target demo, her audience would be young girls.
Teens, preteens, or tweens, as they're known in the marketing world.
And some young men as well. She's pretty. So anyway, the concert happened in Manchester. And supposedly, according to the mainstream story, an Arabic suicide bomber blew himself up and there was an explosion noise and then pandemonium as the young girls and perhaps their parents or whatever ran out.
Right. It was mostly girls and their mothers.
Yes. And the footage that we've got, just like all these other events, shows something to me that looks like it's a complete staged event. And there was a drill in the area.
Yeah.
Couple days prior to it, I think maybe the 10th of May, in which the similar thing happened, and they got chastised, the local police, because they had in the drill the suicide bomber yell Allah Akbar before he pulled his fake bomb vest, and they were chastised because that's racist, you can't say that, and then a few days later something like that happens.
Right.
So your take on it. Did anyone die? Did anyone get hurt? Was any of this real? What do you think?
I will say, because when I was growing up and I was going through the internet world, the memes that came out early are still relevant today. And that was, we always filtered rumors. This was way back before the false flag crap, which was, I heard that such and such happened. And then somebody would eventually say, do you got video? No? That didn't happen. And that was the meme. And unless it has video, it never happened, because without it, again, the Madonna thing, unless you're filming it, what's the point?
Yes.
So here's my take, and I dismissed this thing literally within 10 minutes. That's how jaded I've become.
Me too. And I'm not an auto hoaxer. I'm not an auto hoaxer. I don't just think everything's a hoax, but these days seems like it is.
Okay. Now, especially now, over the last 5 years, anything that doesn't have massive amounts, which is why the Boston bombing was so great, because people just whipped out their 6-gun phones and were just filming, shooting things. And even the limited amount of footage that they shot from all the different angles of the Boston bombing broke it down in 2 seconds. So you can't have something to where it can be analyzed by a whole bunch of footage. You're talking about the demographic with the most phones ever, right?
Yeah, like this every day,
Oh yeah, This is the
Taking
demographic
selfies.
that takes so many selfies. 13-year-old girls might as well have a surgical procedure to have it attached to their hands.
I think that's the next hot trend.
It is. It's. I mean, Google Glass. They were getting there, but the point is these girls, all of them would have been filming that concert. You know, the ones that weren't with their mothers. You know, tons of them would have been filming this thing. And yet the only video footage we have that we keep seeing played in the mainstream over and over, the only footage we have is from the inside of the Coliseum. You hear a noise. I'm not saying there wasn't an explosion, right? A big booming sound, and then followed by screams. You know, people, you know how that goes. The panic, the stampede, you know, mothers and their daughters. Oh, that took almost no coaxing at all. All you'd have to do is tell. You have staged people in different parts of that arena saying, it's terrorist tech, it's terrorist tech. Mothers would lose their minds getting there. I mean, they would have carried their daughters over their shoulders and drug them out of there. So here's my challenge to anyone that says, oh no, it was absolutely a terrorist event. This is very, very similar to the death metal.
Eagles of Death Metal.
Only way worse, because death metal, that band, I don't think was even good enough to have people with their cell phones up at all times. Ariana Grande, that thing would have been shot from thousands of phones. And especially since if you believe the concert had just ended and this guy put himself out where people were streaming out, all these girls would have been so excited for being there. They would have done little selfie things. I was just at the Ariana Grande concert, you know, all these different versions of that. Their phones would have never been shut off. And yet we don't see a single show me something. I'm not saying you should show me something where the phone is actually damaged from the blast. Show me something from 50 yards away or 100 yards away, or someone who's filming their friends. Hey, Ariana Grande rules. And it's something blows up over their shoulder. All we hear is just people describing events. I saw a flash. And I'm sorry, but you can't keep using, and this is a tip to mainstream media out there, you can't keep using the same quote over and over at these events. There was blood and bodies everywhere.
Everyone was screaming, we were wading through blood. It was horrible.
That blood and bodies everywhere quote has been overplayed like a record, right? They will not stop using that quote. And so that's, as soon as you think that, me, morbid curiosity, okay, fine. Show me that shot. Show me that shot, because someone's got it. That horrible, horrible shot where there's blood and bodies everywhere. And the girls, little supposedly teenage girls, never, where is it? It's not there. It's gone.
And
there's no video.
That were there are traumatized by the event because of what they were told happened, not what they saw. They saw pandemonium. They heard screams. They might have heard an explosion, real or played through the speaker system. And then they saw the back of another girl as they were, getting up the stairs, as the speaker was saying, be careful, proceed to the lobby, or whatever was said.
Everybody, actually, I'm surprised there wasn't anybody killed in trampling.
Trampling, yeah.
In trampling, because look, it's mothers and daughters. Mothers will do some amazing things to get their childs out of harm's way, including hurting other people. Don't think for a second. I wrote about that in my little survival manual. I said, do not discount mothers. They will go to extreme lengths. So let's bottom line it. This thing's gonna fade away so fast because there's nothing more to it. If you had in fact, the story would drag out longer if you had authentic footage, but you don't. You never did. And well, it's a fear beat. That's all it is.
Well, something happened to me because I share videos from like Richie from Boston and Russian vids, and sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they go over the top, sometimes they're dead on. But I found the whole thing interesting, and I myself found the Manchester thing to not be reality. It seemed to be exactly the way we're saying it, and I figured that out in a couple seconds. Didn't take a brain trust. PK Boston, or not PK Boston, PK as well did breakdowns on it. Many YouTubers did. Well, since I posted these things on my Facebook, occasionally people will make comments, and there was one guy making a lot of comments that I guess was a recent friend, and I don't know this person because I have 5,000 friends kind of on a rotating, one leaves, another takes his place. Just because you start a YouTube channel, people will be your friend. It's not that I know all these people personally,
right?
But I do interact with a lot of people on Facebook, 2 different Facebooks, one for the channel and one is my personal. My personal is just basically all about flat earth and conspiracies anyway, pretty much.
Yep.
So anyway, this guy messages me and he said, he made it a public comment. Just because you know about flat earth doesn't mean everything else is fake. And I said, this is true. I don't think everything else is fake. I just have a very open mind and make sure to look for truth before I just outright believe. And then he wrote me privately and also was posting it on various public posts I made in Messenger. He was saying things like, I swear it's classic, a friend of a friend. And I was like, oh no, don't tell me. A friend of a friend
oh boy, here we
is
go.
a nurse in Manchester. And I said, well, ask him or her about casualties. And he said, okay. And I said, and make sure to get names or numbers or her name and what unit she works in, get me some information about who she is so I can determine she's a real friend. And he said, yes. And then he came back later and said, oh, she said there were plenty of casualties as did my other nurse friends. And I said, where do you live? And he said, I live in Thailand. And I said, so you've got friends in Manchester, but you live in Thailand? Yes. And so this went back and forth. And then he has a friend of a friend who knew somebody who died. And I said, what was the person's name? A couple seconds pause. And he said, Martin. And I Googled names of people who died in the Manchester Ariana Grande concert. And there was a Martin, but it was spelled differently than the way he spelled it. He spelled it like Martin. And the person who supposedly died was a young man, and Martyn, I think is how his name is spelled. So anyway, this guy was trolling me on posts I made and in a private messenger. And I was thinking, what is his purpose? Are there people that are hired? I mean, this is going a bit conspiracy nuts to shut down. They could be assigned to anybody who's talking about this and getting it to a somewhat large audience. Or is this guy just a hater?
He probably is just a hater. I mean, the odds say he's just a hater. But 2 points. First is, whenever you hear that, oh yeah, I knew somebody knew, the first thing I think of is, oh yeah, my former boyfriend's sister's mother's cousin's friend saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night, right?
Exactly.
It's like, look, I mean, heck, I heard a rumor that I told a guy, literally a guy from Oregon, that I worked at the CIA during a phone conversation. And that was actually circulated back to me through the grapevine. And what are you talking about? I actually talked to a guy in Oregon and just decided to talk about that stuff. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the other part was where you were saying just because you believe in flat earth doesn't mean that everything else is fake. Let me respond with this.
It is.
it is. And here's what, well, it may not be fake, but the integrity is absolutely crushed. I will use the Arthur Andersen reference, which is, everyone knows, okay, if you know anything about finances, you know that Arthur Andersen used to be one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. Used to be. They're gone now. The reason is because a company called Enron, if you ever heard of them, paid them literally $1 million a day to cook the books so that their investors didn't know anything, right? We're talking about a giant company, Arthur Andersen. There was just a few people in a small percentage that were involved in this scandal, right? But since Arthur Andersen, the entire basis of any accounting firm is its integrity, once they were caught lying, the company had to close its doors. Plain and simple. They had to close its doors because the saying, one rotten apple spoils the whole bunch. That's what happened there. So when we see mainstream media, and let me circle back. When you see mainstream media lie about any event, all the rest of the events that they will report on are in question.
Yes.
You cannot say, well, it was just this. It's kind of like when people say, oh, okay, fine, the moon mission was fake, but the ISS is totally real. It's like, why would you think it's the same group? It's the line. Let me use one movie reference for you. It's the line from Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. And that was, once they had hostages, once you killed the first hostage, you might as well kill the rest of them, because the punishment in court is the same, whether you kill one or you kill 10. It doesn't make any difference. So if you're going to fake one thing, you're going to fake everything you can.
It's about credibility. It's like the cheating boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. If you have really got them down to rights that they cheated on you once, you can never trust them again because their credibility is shot. Go ahead and continue with the relationship, but
it's at your own peril. Yeah, buyer beware at that point.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. If you were caught cheating, or if someone's cheating on you, you cannot go into it saying, oh well, that call that one a mulligan.
And also, even if they say that was the first person you're the first person they've ever cheated on first time, probably way before you and way after you and during you. So
I could do an entire episode on why men cheat, but that's just
I don't think I've ever been cheated on, and I've not cheated. So,
well, you're lucky.
Yeah. But then again, I don't think I've ever been cheated on. I can't prove it. So,
I don't know who they cheat on with. You'd know in your case, and because of your caliber, and this is not me blowing smoke up your ass, but which is kind of a weird saying, isn't it? The, what does that say? Someone look that up. Which is, since you know your caliber, you'd be able to spot whoever it was a mile away.
Well, I guess that's a compliment. Thank you for saying that.
Well,
we have got Charlotte 1966 saying, disappointed beyond belief, I guess, in our conversation. Eventually, an act of terror will happen. Unfortunately, when you personally know someone involved, and this is the case with me, how very, very sad. So Charlotte 1966, who is a Globe believer, but that doesn't change anything.
She says she knows somebody that died in Manchester.
Knows somebody who died in Manchester.
Fine, give us a name.
Yeah, that sounds really cruel.
Or better yet, and this is not me being cruel. This is not me, but this shows you the jaded nature of the conspiracy world, which is, look, until I see video that actually shows a blast, how can I believe it?
Or the aftermath of the blast, which they could they could create now, but why didn't we see that immediately? Because these are the things, if I were I'd be taking pictures of.
The iconic picture we saw was of a 20-year-old or younger girl with wearing a kind of a tank top thing and shorts where she was kind of leaning, being held by the police. That was the one shot they were showing. It's like, that's your best shot. And once I saw that, I was going, okay, that's the shot you're going to use.
People standing around with those metal blankets looking like baked potatoes,
Exactly. To that person, I want to mention, let me throw out a Sandy Hook reference to you, because Sandy Hook by far should be the more heinous crime. Forget about a random bomb, that's outside a Coliseum. This supposedly, Sandy Hook was a nut job that supposedly went into a grade school and just started shooting up people for no apparent reason, right? What got me, you want to look at something that I'll use was the Max Malone challenge, where he goes, look, I'll give $5,000 to anybody that can show me a law enforcement officer carrying one of those children out of that building.
Did we even see the interior with bullet holes?
No, we didn't.
We won't show that because we want to respect the victims.
The traffic copters got there immediately. You know how traffic copters work. Like they were rerouted in 2 seconds, and they don't have to deal with traffic. They just flew over there, said, oh yeah, the place is still on lockdown, and they had a full tank of gas. So they just hovered and hovered and hovered. No kids ever came out of that building on video. None of them ever came out of that building on video. There's 600 children. Do you know how long that would take a SWAT team to get those kids out? It would take hours, clearing room by room. You don't know how many people are there, and they'd be carrying all of them out there. They'd be going in stages. All we got was 3 still shots of 20 kids, the same 20 kids being led through a parking lot that looked almost empty by SWAT team members, and they're holding each other's back, and one of them's crying. Those are the images we saw.
That just looked like something that was taken days ago, weeks ago, months ago, years ago, a drill, or kids on a field trip walking across the street to the park. Anyway, let's see. We've got a good comment from RJ, who says the school shooting in Afghanistan used Sandy Hook kid photos. Yeah, the young boy.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Forgot his name, but yeah, it was there too.
Here was another quick one for Sandy Hook, something that people missed, which was when take a look at the aerial shots from the helicopter cameras. You know what was missing, which you never ever saw? None of the emergency vehicles. No ambulance, no fire truck, no police vehicle. None of them had their lights on. Not a single one even accidentally left your red and blues on. Are you serious? They all had them off, like they'd been there for a while. It's, I better shut off the lights. Like, are you serious? They would have had those lights on and left. It should have looked like the 4th of July on the sun. from an aerial view. It would have been hard to look at.
Charlotte 1966 says, I know people who were there. I didn't say I knew a victim. She's saying, don't tell lies. I wasn't lying. I was just reading what was said. And
what, people that lived in England?
She said,
oh, at the concert?
She knows people that were there. So that doesn't mean she knows a victim.
No, that's the point. There's lots of people at the concert.
There was people there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The concert actually happened. That's not in question.
Right. And all of those people will say, oh, my God, it was horrible.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Screaming. Police.
Ask all of them. Did you see any bodies? No. Did you see any blood? No. Do you know anybody that died? No.
There could have been people laying down hurt because of the running and the panic.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. There were people trying to hop over the stairs. That didn't.
Or they hired some crisis actors to come in and play, lay down and here's the bloody thing to put on your knee. Let me tear your pants. That kind of thing.
I'm sorry. Every event like this, this is
always the same. They're always the same.
This is the cry wolf scenario for the conspiracy world. We've seen this so many times now it's actually hard to create a list of how many we've run into. I don't think I take me a while to actually type them up to see how many so why would I believe in this? If everything else has been broken down to be an utter farce, why would I believe in in fact, I would be other conspiracy people like you'd look at me and go, what, you believe in the Manchester thing? What's wrong with you, man? It's like you're slipping. By the way, is Ariana Grande, is she one of ours?
One of ours meaning a flat earther?
No, not one of ours. Is she one of is she part of the US?
Ariana Grande. Yeah, she might be American. I know so little about her.
Somebody find out if she's American or she's South American or
I know she went vegan. This I do know. I don't know anything else.
I don't think you have to change your country code for that, though.
Yeah, I don't really know. Anyway, I'm not quite sure about anything about Ariana Grande, but I know people went to the show and they had a wonderful time and they didn't expect it to end that way. And they'll never forget it.
And if you're gonna do this sort of attack, why aren't you going for the brass ring? Why aren't you going for it? Why, in fact, why not detonate it in the building? Why not go for the person on stage?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Make a run for it.
If you want to yell Allah Akbar, which is supposedly what this terrorist did, and blow up a suicide vest, you go for the biggest density possible. However, I heard some people say the reason that the fake bomb thing didn't go off during the concert was because it would have been not loud enough.
What?
And the song and the music would have overcome the sound of the bomb noise if they were playing a bomb noise on a speaker. So they had to wait till the concert was pretty much overdone to explode or play the noise of the fake bomb or explode a firecracker, whatever they did.
You're absolutely right. That's a good one.
They couldn't do it when she was on stage singing because they wouldn't.
And if you want to do it inside, I mean, you could do it inside with a giant flashbang, but there'd be no guarantee that anyone would believe it was anything other than a production, because we've seen, heck, there's been heavy metal concerts where people have actually been blown up by explosions.
There's explosions and smoke as part of most concerts. If you were a terrorist and you did want to do that, you would go right toward the front of the stage.
Yeah, you'd walk right up in the front.
A moment between songs, just that moment. There is a moment between songs. You'd get up there and pull the ripcord or however those things work and yell out whatever you wanted to yell out and try to take out Ariana Grande too.
Yeah.
It's so horrible we're talking about something like this.
I know. No, well, it has to be said because it's the fear beat of it. You could almost set your watch to it. It's been too long between what was the last one before this?
You know what? There's so many of them. There's the Times Square thing, which many say were real, some say it fake. There's something.
Yeah, but that one was small. The death metal thing. How many people supposedly died there?
Eagles of Death Metal.
Eagles of Death Metal.
No idea.
Who actually got a pretty sweet gig out of that? They got to be on stage with U2 later.
Yeah, this is true.
Anyway, Manchester's not the first. It's not going to be the last. Just be suspicious of everything you see. And
don't be afraid to go out and do things because you can't consent to their games. Bad stuff's not going to happen to you if you go to a concert.
I also like the fact in the first 24 hours, it sounded like she was going to cancel the rest of her tour. Now she's only going to cancel part of her tour.
And I bet every tour will open up with a big flowery, we dedicate this to. it'll go on for a long time.
Terrible.
So.
Terrible.
And it was preceded by a drill. So, we've got Twitwit here as well. And let's see. Solo Cat 1980 says Aloha Snack Bar as opposed to Allah Akbar. And I think
That's
the person that came up with that was IPS. At least he's the first person I heard say it.
Aloha Snack Bar. That's a t-shirt.
And the thing is that it's not an anti-Muslim statement, because what we're saying is Muslims didn't do this. Quit blaming Muslims. And there are people who I like. In fact, Morrissey, lead singer of the Smiths, is out now protesting the fact that people in the UK aren't cracking down on Muslims, because he's a believer in the fact that it's a, he's very cutting edge on many of his beliefs, but he is still in the matrix on things. So.
And I also like that they, that ISIS supposedly claimed responsibility for it right away. It's like, where have those guys been? I mean, now you're bringing back ISIS into the...
ISIS has been on the ISS.
Seriously, why? Nobody's even heard of anything going on with those guys for a while. And it's like, oh yeah, they're still relevant. We need more dollars to go fight them.
Schlominger says those fake terrorist attacks are made for attention whores to claim being a victim too. The I know someone who knows someone people. I don't think they're made for that, but it does bring them out of the woodwork. I did read something once that there was a big earthquake in San Francisco, the Loma Prieta earthquake. I was not living in San Francisco when it happened, but I did feel the earthquake. I was living in Modesto, working at a radio station. Told this story before. At that moment, before the earthquake, I went and asked my boss for a raise. And then the earth started shaking, even as far away as Modesto, several hours away. And we evacuated the building, a one-story building. We stood in the parking lot and we watched the earth undulate. The cement parking lot moved like waves of an ocean for a few seconds, which seemed like an eternity. Then we went back in and nobody really did too much work. Of course, the DJs continued on with their, playing music and doing the news and such. And my boss said to me, "You got your raise," as if I had caused that, which was kind of a funny joke with us for years. But I'm telling this story because what at the time was Giant Stadium, and then it went to 3Com Park, and I don't keep up with baseball, but it's got some other name now. A baseball stadium, probably, that's I don't know what it's called now, that's in San Francisco. A game was in progress when the earthquake hit.
Right, I remember that.
Parts of the building kind of disintegrated, and there was pandemonium and such. Not that the whole stadium fell down or anything, but you know what it's like if you're in a big place, when people panic, you can get hurt. The amount of people later, after all was said and done, years later, who claim to have been in Giant Stadium when the earthquake hit is triple the amount that it could contain.
Oh, so yeah.
Kind of what Schlominger is saying. People want to be a part of it, even if it's something horrendous. They even trick their mind to almost believe it in some way.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was there. No, you weren't. Oh, well, two quick references. One was the people that will jump on. You can see this on videotape on YouTube. Videotape. Well, it was videotape.
I say videotape too.
Well, no, it was older. If there's an accident where like a bus rear ends a car, people will jump onto the bus because when the police come, there's always some weird little minor settlement. And that is, you might only get $1,000 out of it, but why not? The word gets around, and that is, if you see a bus, get into an accident, if you can get on, you get on, because the police seal off the scene, the lawyers take names down of everybody who's involved, and they get paid. It's fascinating, and nowadays they've written special laws. You can get in trouble if you are actually caught doing that.
We've got Fred Caldwell in our chat says, "Great story, Patricia, about me asking for a raise." He says, "When we had an earthquake, I was on a toilet."
Nice.
Fred, you should probably make up a better story.
By the way, when people panic in crowd situations, you and I know we talked about this. That is the reason why when you're coming to major institutional facilities, why the doors have push bars on them.
Is that why?
Oh yeah, because what happens is when you get into a panic mode, your IQ, your comprehensive abilities fall to the floor.
You know what? I know if there were ever a situation, I would handle it. I would not panic. I would not scream. I would be able to help other people. I just know that I'm a very calm person, and I would understand, okay, here's what needs to be done.
You're fearless, but there's a whole another reason for that. When it comes to the average person, there's a reason why I use the term hands in the air screaming type of panic, which is
Raise
what would
your
happen
hands in the air like you don't care.
Well, people in a building, especially if there was a fire, what's it saying? You never yell fire in a crowded movie house, which is when people panic, what happens is the first people get to the door. And if it's a turn handle door, whatever, the people in the front, they don't care. They just want out. So they're just banging on the door. They don't even see the door handle. And then the people behind them hit, and then they're pinned against the door, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Everybody in that place, they can't get out. So what they did was they designed push bars so that if the first person didn't actually get his wits about them, the people behind them could actually compress the guy, and he would push the bar, and then everyone would just fall out the doors.
By compress, you mean walk on like a human floor?
Pretty much. So even in a worst case scenario, you're getting out that door. That's why there's push bars on doors, because on institutional facilities, because they're of the panic mechanism that's built into people.
Well, we have to panic in order to save ourselves. But if you're ever in a situation, try to maintain as much calm as you can and help as many people as you can. That's just what you've got to do. It's your duty.
You want something weird? So
throw me one of those. Wouldn't it be really cool if I?
Oh man, if I could do one of these, like here.
And I had it, and I'd say, "Look, look! It transformed into a small metal sculpture. How weird!"
Wow, that's really cool. No, I was looking at these, and both the globes. There's two types of globes.
They're different sizes.
Well, it's not. No, they're
Wait,
actually,
one's from the 70s and one's from 2015.
Pretty much the same size, but I was looking at Antarctica, and one Antarctica is this big, that little thing right there, right? Mm-hmm. But one is way smaller. It's that thing, and it's a completely different shape.
It's because of global cooling. It's getting bigger.
Yeah. So even in the toy, there's discrepancies. There's two different types of from the same factory, and I can tell they're two different types because one, the equator is actually, because they make these things in half. The little line that's around the equator. Oh, yeah. But the other one has the equator running north to south. The line, the separation line when you build these things.
What we learned about these toys is they don't care. They just churn them out.
They don't. Yeah, just crank them out. They don't care because it's the reinforcement. You don't have to have the continents perfect. Everyone knows it's a globe. That's the hook. Everyone knows what this is. You can hand this to someone at age 5, hand someone at age 80.
It's pretty. That's why.
The only one that wouldn't know would be someone that's not from an industrialized, some tribe in Papua New Guinea or.
Who would see a cell phone on the ground and go, how do you operate this? But you give it to a 2-year-old child, I'd be like, all right, let me tweet.
Selfie. What? No stick comes with that?
Terry Elrod has donated $2 in the super chat, which, by the way, all super chat money, I will super chat it to somebody else. He wants to see you juggle your earth balls.
I can do it. It's tougher when I sit down.
Oh, no excuses.
It is absolutely tougher because
you can do it.
Yep.
And let's give it up to Mark Sargent. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know how to do
learn.
that.
They just want to be entertained.
Well, this show is about entertainment, and we get a lot of criticism because it's not flat earth facts. It's not supposed to be. It's a secret show. It's a show for fun, community, etc. Let's see.
I can teach people how to juggle too. It's actually easy. The trick when you're teaching people to juggle is you start with 2. You never give people 3 balls and you always start with 2. And the whole point is you have to get used to throwing one over, and as it's coming down to the other hand, you throw this one under. So, actually you start with 1. You got to get used to throwing balls back and forth without really looking at your hands. You're looking at where the ball is doing
like
this.
Your peripheral vision or something.
Yeah, exactly. You only care. You've got to get really comfortable with your hands. You got to have pretty good hands, to be honest. But then when you do, after you get to 2, you do something like this. You throw the ball up. Here, watch. You're not watching.
I am.
It's like talking. Mom, watch. So you throw this one, and as it's coming down, you throw that one under. So before it lands in the other hand, it's like you're throwing a ball into a hand that's already got ball in it, and you got to get rid of it.
You should make a video where we can actually see them touching your hand, because this isn't picking it up that well. Mark Sargent juggles the globe Earth and just shoot a video. And put it
No,
up.
I'm just saying. I can teach.
You'll get,
It does not take long.
from certain
Now
people.
I've got.
I think it'd be funny.
Flying everywhere.
I saw something go by earlier because the chat was moving pretty quickly, and it's about Carly Sunshine. She went to the grocery store just about 15 minutes or so ago.
That's a good story.
She has a flat Earth, and there was a bomb. No, she has a flat Earth.
And 19 people died.
33. She has a flat Earth chrome thing on the back of her car, and it got vandalized. She said.
Really?
Yeah, but that's somebody who doesn't like flat Earth, probably.
Right on.
Yeah.
Screw them. There's going to be conflicts before this is over.
Yeah.
Globalists that are actually angry. Wait, who else talked about that? Somebody else had something happen.
I feel like
that guy that was outside of the Chris Hadfield seminar.
Oh, yes.
He had one of his signs vandalized.
Really?
By a globalist. The guy was so irate that, because astronauts are heroes. Even though he's not an American hero.
Who's a hero for real in this world? Forget astronauts. Who's a real hero?
Nobody.
And that's another thing. We've found that so many of our heroes are not just feet of clay, because we all have feet of clay, but are liars, fraudsters, scammers. The stories have been made up about them, or they didn't even exist in the first place.
Say it isn't so, Joe.
Hero.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio.
But you're absolutely right. Heroes are topic specific. Fine,
maybe it's just your family, your friends, somebody you know specifically. You can be a hero.
I mean, you can look up to somebody. That's a tough question for me though, because sports heroes, you gotta be careful there because they will let you down. Sports heroes will. Politicians, there's no such thing as a hero. They're astronauts. Because they're
good luck.
Even if it was real, because they were brave enough to.
Hero astronaut would be one who came out and said, "Guys, it's fake." That would be a hero. Somebody who, they put their life on the line, really. That would be a hero.
War hero, it's a tough one. I mean, yeah, fine, you saved your platoon, but you were out killing people in the name of your
Who's a
government.
hero?
It's good. That's the title of a book. Somebody should have done. Who's the hero?
I guess maybe we all have to act like a hero in our own life. It's up to us to be heroes in our own life in small instances where you help somebody do this. So I know it sounds ridiculous, but open a door, donate $1 to somebody who's on the street and needs food. If you've got, or more, if you've got that, and like an everyday hero is really all we can be. The kind of heroes like Stephen Hawking, for example, hero or zero.
See, I value people that donate a lot of their time to like the Humane Society more than I do Stephen Hawking. I couldn't do it. My heart would break every day. But those people I look up to.
Anybody who works in a no-kill shelter for animals is a hero to me because they are working with those animals, not putting them to sleep. And that it must be heartbreaking too, to see new people come in with perfectly fine dogs and cats and they just got tired of them, or, they're scratching my couch or, growling or something. Right. Behavior modification can be used, or give them to another family that doesn't have children.
All right, happier topic. What we got?
No, I don't want to go on. Yeah,
not like the Manchester people, because it's tough to be sad when nothing happened.
Right. True. Well, you know what? I have to say that maybe some people did die. I have no proof that they did, but maybe they do have to kill a few people to make it legit. I know bad karma, but do they care?
Sometimes to make an omelet, you do have to kill a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, but not the way they said it. It's definitely not the way it was reported. Oh, and the other Sandy Hook thing. Let me bring up one last Sandy Hook point, because I love statistics. The part about Sandy Hook, which should bother anybody, I don't care if you don't believe the lights or the people getting carried out. The part that was, if you believe in the math, and I know some people, it's like math proves everything. Fine, if you believe in the math, show me the statistical probability that says there were no wounded in Sandy Hook. Literally
impossible.
No wounded. The guy went in there, supposedly sprayed close to a couple hundred rounds, and anyone that was touched by a bullet died. Do you know how statistically impossible that is?
Yeah,
meaning, if you got hit in the finger, you died. You got hit in the wrist, you died. Glanced off some drywall and hit you in the shoulder, you died. Really? It was a perfect kill ratio. There are special ops teams right now that would give their mothers' lives for that sort of ratio.
Let me move from the topic of killing people.
Darn it.
And the fact we don't have any heroes anymore, and the fact that they make really, 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 really poorly done squeezy ball globes in China, to something more positive.
These are horrible stress balls. Seriously.
They're giving me stress.
I can see why. But I do encourage people to pick these suckers up from Amazon, wherever you can get them cheap. It's like what was it, $17 for a bag of 24/33.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to read.
Because you can throw them at people and you don't care.
Yeah, that's true too.
In fact, we should throw these at globalists.
No, globalists deserve a hug. And like, they're there. It's okay.
No, we should have.
You live on a cartoon. It's all right. Come on.
Next time NDT does some sort of seminar, people just start winging these at them. Yeah,
then we'll go to jail. Violent flat earthers throwing
pieces of foam rubber. Oh yeah, that'll go over well.
Put someone's eye out with one of those if you're not careful.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could. Yeah, it hurt. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, this is an email from Rose Winter, who says, "Hello. You're welcome to use my name if you want to read any part of this out loud. I love your shows, but they're on late in the UK. Yeah, 11 p.m. actually is when they start. So I don't often get to listen to the whole show live. I catch up later. It really would be special if you could do a matinee sometimes. I like that idea." She writes, "I wonder if you could cover a couple of topics or answer some questions." So Mark, here's where we and those of the chat help out.
What?
"I'd like to know about that weird moon thing up there above us. I doubt the influence of the moon on the Earth plane is as we've been told. So how about the tides? Is there a different explanation for tides on the flat Earth, or is it the same sort of principle? And how do we explain the moon visibly appearing in the daytime opposite the sun in a closed system? And why does the daytime moon appear to have blue shadows?" So where shall we start? The blue shadows thing, where it looks like you can see through the moon, and then at night there's black shadows, which looks like you can see through the moon. What do you think, Mark? Are we seeing
it's all the same answer. You know where I'm going with this. My answers are all, I take the easiest one, which is you're in. In fact, I can use my visual aids.
Okay. And some people will say, no, that's not it. Everything up there is real. But these are Mark's. This is Mark's perspective.
The opinions of Mark Sargent do not necessarily reflect.
The host is Patricia Steere and 3 CGI Cats, or anyone in the chat, and may or may not be used against him on a video by a hater later.
Or her stagehands who eat all the donuts. Anyway, here. So instead of the globe, right?
Mm-hmm.
This, I know some people are real fond of the infinite plane. I get it. Right? Here's the
it's just that, and or like puddle theory, a bunch of those.
Yeah, a bunch of those, which isn't bad. The only problem you're going to have, which is why I can
that could be enclosed too. An infinite plane could just mean we don't know.
Exactly. Here's the two, right? So here's infinite plane with no roof, which is why Chris Pontius is going to do so well with these. And here is the domed roof, sort of like a sports stadium, but you can see on the inside, it's pretty much the same.
Wait, I see Ariana Grande in there. Watch out! Boom!
Yeah. So my point is that if you're in this, then you're basically this is shaped pretty much like a planetarium,
or a hockey puck,
or in fact, it's very hockey puck size. I don't know where the mold from this is really well made though, and they're probably too expensive to hand out to people, but it's kind of cool. So I'm sure some reporters can be like, "Can I have this?" Well, no, you can't have. That's mine. So the point is that if you're in this, everything in the sky is just an image that's projected up there. Everything that happens from the moon to the sun. I mean, yeah, it might be a 3-dimensional image or a 2-dimensional image, or it could be a hologram or anything. But if it's up there in the sky, it can be done. So it'll solve everything with the exception of your gravity question, which was the beginning. So anything visual can be done in a planetarium. That's what we do now. In a planetarium, we can show blood moons, we can show waxing and waning moons, we can show comets. Take your pick. We can do that. But when it comes to gravity, what's gravity on this, right? Or I should say, what's gravity on this? Gravity is the same on this as it is on this. That is, the only difference is that on a globe, gravity supposedly is this magical, mystical force. Remember what NDT said, where he said that we can't tell you what gravity is. We can only tell you what it does. And he goes, science says that it pulls everything towards the center of this. Whereas if you're talking about a physical plane like this, everything is just pulled down. And there's some sort of gravity, you know, is it based on mass? We don't know. Is it electromagnetic? We don't know.
Why does it have to be something's pulling something down? Pulling. Am I being pulled to the earth? I don't feel that's the case. If I drop a pencil, I don't think it's being pulled down. I just think because it's heavier than air, it falls down.
Could be. Could
like,
very
you know,
well be.
Density buoyancy argument.
I got you. The density buoyancy argument. So either way, so when it comes, if she's asking, what controls the tides? If the moon doesn't control the tides, I'm saying, look, the moon was a stretch to begin with to affecting the tides. There's too many inconsistencies.
That sounded made up to me when I was a child. I'm like, I don't get it.
The moon controls the tides. Yeah, most people still can't explain that, although most people still can't explain the fact how a microwave oven works, and we've had those for 40 years. Right. And everyone's got one. Most people don't know. You have to look it up. So the moon, when it comes to the tides being controlled on this, I believe it's whatever part of the mechanism that's controlling it. It's being controlled from down here, part of this. It's not being controlled by the moon that goes above it.
My unscientific answer, and I'm not the science person in Flat Earth, and everyone knows that, and I'm not afraid to admit it, is magnetism involving the salt water, which doesn't work with fresh water. So.
Sure. I mean, you know, you've heard me say it.
There's no tides on fresh water. So
I am a big believer in molecular magnetism. And that is, we all know what regular magnetism is, and, you know, we can affect metals. But if you had a way to, you know, electromagnetically probably, of pulling any object, whether it be organic or non-organic, then what's the difference between that and what we call gravity? We do that in simulations now. We just write it in. We just all we do is we build the physics engine for it. And gravity is literally what we say it is.
So there's two different explanations. There's sort of the one I gave and the one you gave, and they also can almost work at the same time.
Sure.
Mine is the how, and yours is the because that's how it's been set up.
Yeah.
So
sort of like what the old thing, why is the sky blue? Because it was colored blue. But science isn't going to say that, because when you personalize it, that they're trying to do everything they can to get away from some sort of creation,
right?
From any sort of creator, whether it be divine or not divine. They've got to pull away from that. They're going to say, well, it's this way, it's organic, and it's by accident. That's their qualifier for literally everything. It's this is the way it's done. It's organic, and it's absolutely happenstance.
Impossible. Totally impossible.
I agree.
Rob writes to you and I, from now on, this will be my mantra, quote, I hereby invoke the NDT paradigm. I shall not debate thee, for my science is correct, whether you believe in it or not.
Verily.
Use that anytime.
Nice.
Let's see. Okay. Anyway, those are some good questions from Rose. She has other questions, and I'll save those for another time. We've got a message from Brad who says, I've been thinking about the Coriolis effect's twin, the Eötvös effect.
Oh, that piece of crap.
The Eötvös, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, Eötvös effect states that we will weigh less when we are spinning with the Earth due to centrifugal force.
Yeah.
According to Dr. Sten Odenwald on the NASA website. Something that weighs 100 pounds at the North Pole would weigh 99.65 pounds at the equator due to the 1,039 mph spin at the equator compared to no spin at the poles. So what he goes on to say is, while the above effect appears very small, consider that a jumbo jet weighs several 100,000 pounds, and also a jumbo jet can burn 80 tons of fuel on a typical 10-hour flight. So a tiny difference will mean a lot. And consider the cumulative effect this has on the major airlines. If flights heading east are just a little bit lighter than westward flights, and if the airline constantly has long-distance eastward and westward flights, the consequences of not accounting for the Eötvös effect will add up over time.
That's good.
Brad goes on to say he saw a lengthy article on Wikipedia called Flight Planning. The article lists several factors that must be taken into account while drawing up a flight plan and calculating the required fuel needed. Not one mention of the Eötvös effect. He says, I find it odd that the airlines would not account for this at all.
No, in fact, they do the opposite, where they will go way out of their predicted route, how we would predict their routes. double their flight time in order to achieve flights in the Southern Hemisphere most of the time.
And they have to have enough fuel on there in case they have to reroute or all those things. You know, whatever happened to airline hijacking? Speaking of things that used to happen that don't happen anymore. I remember growing up in the 70s and it was like continual that airlines were hijacked.
Yeah. Now, well,
I'm sure kind of stuff.
Well, but because of that tightened security, all those guys and those getting paid minimum wage.
Yeah, taking away my nail file. Okay.
But they allow. I love the not to pick on them too much, but I love how before they were going to ban, when they were creating a list of items they were going to ban on the airlines, they were going to limit the amount of matches you could bring on the plane, right? Like maybe 2 packs or something like that. 2 packs of matches. And you know who lobbied the hell out of that thing and got that completely overturned?
Cigarette industry?
The tobacco people. Yeah. Big tobacco. Yeah. So now you could basically, and they made it so ridiculous to like the individual can bring up to like 12 packs of matches, just a number that no one would ever do. And that's because they don't want people not smoking when they get off the plane. They want them to have access to matches immediately when they get off the plane because they want them to use more of their product. And they lobbied the people that wrote the bill and got it overturned. You gotta love them.
I mean, what could you do with matches on a plane?
Well, remember that shoe bomber?
That was fake.
Well, yeah, I know, but the concept was they were putting it off as real, and
everything's
so that was
fake.
I mean, honestly, you can. I mean, I know enough about explosives. You can make some interesting things with match tips if you want.
Because it's sulfur.
Yeah, just the way the match tip is created. If you put enough of them in a concentrate, I don't want to give people tips, but the point is I got it. I completely got why it should be potentially banned, but it was like, oh no, we won't even care about that because the smokers. we need them to keep smoking.
We don't want you to die in a plane crash due to terrorism, but keep on smoking.
Yeah, there was that line, not to steal too many lines, but there was a line from one of the Simpsons shows where, because the brand in the Simpsons shows is a fake brand called Laramie cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't watch the Simpsons that much. I've actually only seen Simpsons excerpts due to being a flat earther and conspiracy buff.
And that was one of the first announcements when the city was being held hostage. The cigarette people came on television and said, just so you know, we're going to make sure, that our Laramie cigarette's going to get to you, with that smooth tobacco flavor. We've told our drivers to ignore all crosswalks and stop signs. And yeah, that's pretty much how it goes with those guys.
Somebody just messaged me that said that the day of the Ariana Grande Manchester bombing, going back to that again, there were 223 days left in the year, and Skull and Bones is 322.
It's good.
It's 322.
Somebody else should look up real quick, because I heard, I don't know if you were following it very closely. Someone should look up when that concert started.
Ooh.
Because I heard from a video, and again, I thought it was interesting that the concert started, because remember, we're talking teen girls here. It's a 2-hour concert, starts at 6:30, ends at 8:30, right? That's what I had heard. But the blast was at 10:30.
Yeah. It was after the
show.
show.
I don't care how many encores you have. That seems a little late.
2-hour show? I don't know.
2-hour show, 6:30 to 8:30. But if the blast was 2 hours after that, somebody confirmed when that show started.
Yeah, 2-hour show sounds normal. Like an
2-hour show sounds normal. But if the blast was 4 hours after the show started,
or Ariana Grande for more than 10 minutes, I think would give me a grande headache.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I'm sure she has a totally fine voice. Just
no es bueno.
I have no idea.
Sir Speedy.
Let's see what's happening in our live chat.
Told you they got rid of Speedy Gonzalez off of television, not because of Speedy, but because of how they portrayed his cousin Slowpoke. Because they portrayed Hispanics as being lazy.
What about the what was he? It was a Disney cartoon character with a cartoon character that was it? Wait, Speedy Gonzalez?
Speedy Gonzalez was Warner Brothers.
Okay, yeah.
That was part of the Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, but that was another one of those.
Bugs Bunny Roadrunner hour.
That was frowned upon later because of the way he spoke. And what about the Frito Bandito? Same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dale Gubaz says, I tried to make water curve and was unsuccessful.
Nice.
RJ says, I love Speedy. Five Arts Liberalis says, use the flat earth as a ping pong bat and the globe as a ball. You know what? I was thinking that too. You remember those paddle balls where they had like a elasticy string thing attached to a ball
those are hard.
and then a paddle? Oh, those are fun.
Those are hard. I could never do those repeated.
That
Well,
would
I didn't
be
try
great
hard enough.
Little gift thing at the flat earth event. Paddleball, I think, or something. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that would be a really fun thing if somebody's into making things to sell or give away at the Flat Earth Conference. The flat paddle, you make it the shape of flat Earth, and the ball, the globe, so you're kind of like beating the globe.
Yeah. Seriously, I'm gonna be throwing these everywhere. In fact, I may just leave them in places, but I'm gonna write. I'll put in a marker. Here's the difference. You've got plenty of places in the South Pacific Ocean. Write Flat Earth on the side of it.
I was in a store the other day and they had 3 globes for sale, and I'm thinking I need to bring paper and tape so I could write Flat Earth. I don't want to deface anything in a store. And just imagine I go to jail because I use a Sharpie. No,
you would totally make press. If that
I'm innocent. Take me away. Don't take me.
Yeah, you don't have that activist vibe. Sorry.
No, I'm an activist though. We all are, even if I don't have the traditional activist vibe.
Oh, I know, but I mean,
I'm still an activist for Flat Earth.
You don't own any clothes in muted colors, and I don't think you'd actually hand paint a sign. The 60s would have not been good for you.
The 60s mod era was pretty cool. Caveman 444 is here.
You would have been hanging out with
like Twiggy, you know.
Who was the artist in New York? Andy Warhol. You would have been
Warhol.
You would have been a muse.
I think the whole Andy Warhol thing, that's also a whole bunch of people are saying that's a conspiracy thing as well. Everything is in history.
Patricia, you stand over next to that wall. I want to photograph you.
Is that an Andy Warhol accent? Hold this can of tomato soup.
And I took that Andy Warhol accent completely from Men in Black 3, where what's his face was actually playing.
Caveman 444 says no sleep till globe exit. Globe exit is the IPS Infinite Plane Society's thing. # globe exit.
Little Beastie Boys reference there.
No sleep till Brooklyn. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Let's see. So, hello to everyone. There's some funny stuff going on in chat, that's for sure. I appreciate everyone being here. It's been a fun show. We've talked about some really tragic things.
We have. We should end some good notes.
You have any?
Did you see, by the way, and I caught this as well. Did you see where FEA had his friend on and they were breaking down that 1983 space shuttle footage even further?
No, I usually follow his videos, but no.
It was good. He caught something that I hadn't caught initially. We all knew the guy in the background that was hanging out below the space shuttle model with the shadow on his face. It was like, oh, he gets out of there real quick. And then I had caught the fact that the astronauts were going up. Again, everyone catches something in
yeah, they had bare arms.
They had bare arms. It's like, okay, you're in the launch phase and no one's even wearing gloves.
It'd be like me wearing this.
Yeah, pretty much wearing that right there. And they were wearing the motorcycle helmets, which I thought were display helmets for photographs only. But then the FEA's friend, he goes, you want to know something? He goes, you can see the guy's neck. He goes, they were wearing the helmets and there was bare neck. He's going, wait, the helmets are attached to pressurized suits.
Oh, so NASA will say, oh, that's just a special skin tone fabric that.
Oh, crap. It's literally, they were wearing a motorcycle helmet over like a polo shirt. That's what they were doing. That was their launch phase. It's like, and you think, well, they're much safer now. It's like, why aren't they using that now?
Look at old Skylab pictures to have a laugh.
Oh, it was terrible.
It's so crazy fake and interesting and cool. And we believed it all.
Yeah, the 80s. Well, yeah, back in the 80s, we totally would. We could have watched that 20 times and be like, oh,
I remember when
looks good to me. Thumbs
Princess
up.
Diana died. I thought that was totally legit. And now conspiracies have come out and she was killed potentially. So
yeah.
I
Well,
remember watching her when that all went down, and then her funeral after.
I've got my own theory on that one.
Oh, tell us. But I do want to say, Ukdina Walker has joined us and says something along the lines of that there are a lot of bad people in the world. And, we're talking about everything being fake and all of that. And we don't want to discount the fact that there are people out there who will kidnap, rape, murder, kill, blow people up, hold up places, steal, everything. I mean, we don't want to say everything's fake. So just act as if everything's wonderful. Actually, I kind of do think acting as if everything is wonderful kind of brings about wonderful, because you've got that positive. But we do have to keep in mind that it's not always, butterflies and roses.
Right. True. I agree. And it's mostly men's fault anyway. The Princess Di thing, I think, was
I don't know. Some women are pretty bad.
there are, said the Disney Queen, but there are some bad women, but 99% of them are men. The problems that are out there.
You mean that they're trans? You said no. There are some bad women, but 99% of them are
well,
men.
99. I was shortening it.
I know.
There are 99% of the problems out there. I got 99 problems, and woman ain't one. Mm-hmm. That's generally what how the world should look at it. But the Princess Di thing, I think, was much more basic, which was, it wasn't if she was killed, it's why. I think they offed her because they wanted remember who was going to get married? Her first son was going to get married pretty soon, not too long in the future. And she had, think of it this way. It's going to sound petty, but from an aristocratic standpoint.
I thought they didn't want her marrying Dodi because he was Arabic, and that's why.
No. They could care less about that. It was what was the big wedding that happened in England? It was the first prince. Yeah, the one that was married to Middleton, right?
Yeah, Kate Middleton, yes.
Kate Middleton, right? That was a huge wedding. Big.
And her sister just got married over the weekend.
It's going to sound petty, but remember how the rich and powerful think. It's all about impressions. You're not going to exclude her from the wedding, right? She's going to be at that wedding. But the thing is, she's going to be at that wedding sitting across from her ex-husband. We're going to be in the same camera frame a lot, and the media is going to feed on that. If you're the royals, you don't want to deal with that crap. It's like, you know what?
So you kill somebody?
Why not? I know it sounds petty, but think of of the problems it solves. You don't have to worry about her inviting. You don't have to worry where she sits. You don't have to worry about any media weird things. It's sort of like when not to use a lesser one, but when Jen from Friends.
Yes.
When she was doing the Academy Award stuff, where Angelina and Brad were sitting in the audience and she was announcing, she was like giving an awards thing. Everyone was like, they were talking about that for weeks beforehand and weeks afterwards. This wedding was so big and was so international. You wanted it to be perfect. Women want the perfect wedding anyway.
But Lady Diana or Princess Diana died way long before.
Oh yeah. Well, long before. Mary. Yeah, in terms of years, yes. But it's being proactive. You don't want anyone even talking about it, because that's the first thing that comes up. I hate to say this. As soon as he announces his engagement, the press is like, okay, boring wedding. Hey, here's something juicy. That's all. That would be the hype. This gets rid of all of that.
But she died in 90 something, right? And
somebody looked it up. I'm just saying that because of who they are, her sons were always going to be married.
Oh, you mean like someday when they weren't little boys anymore?
Exactly. They were going to be not just married, they were going to be high profile, extreme, the most high profile weddings there are. And that type of wedding, you cannot have anything tarnishing that. I'm sorry. I'm just, me, I put myself in their shoes. If that order would have come down, it would have been, yeah.
Is it literally the queen saying off with her head?
There you go.
There's other conspiracies about it, and I know nothing about exactly the conspiracies involved.
I just say keep it simple if you can.
But people, Wislaw says people kill people for much less.
Oh yeah, well, much less, much less. The average hitman, 10 grand, get you a decent hitman nowadays.
Really? Is that what it takes? 10 grand?
Yeah, 10 grand.
There's Bling Bling, the BSS of the ISS. And she's renamed the ISS the BS station. So that's what the other S stands for. The
Nice.
BS station. We asked that
Nice.
earlier.
Oh, by the
in
way,
show.
you saw that headline that came out, was it yesterday or this morning, that New Zealand was entering the space program?
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Satellites only, mind you.
Oh.
But whatever.
Well, there's money in it.
There's money in it.
Twitwit says that Diana died in 95. I'm thinking, I was trying to picture where I was in life at that time. So yeah. 95, Tesla's Apple says 97. So hello, Bling Bling. Hopefully you and I are going to get together and do a show soon. I've messaged her and maybe that'll be an interview happening next week. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, D Marble, I keep putting an S on the end, is going to be my guest tomorrow, which is the 25th of May at 3 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, and 11 GMT. And we're going to talk flat Earth and all the press that he's got and his belief system, and he's into health, and a very interesting man. Everyone in Flat Earth is interesting. We were all doing interesting things before we found out about Flat Earth. And I think that when I do my interview shows, I just like to show everyone as my part here in this thing is to bring other people forward if I can. He doesn't need me to bring him forward. When I first contacted him, his channel was a little bit smaller. And then, of course, he got in mainstream. So his channel's probably bigger than mine and yours combined now, or at least he's been talked about so much.
It's a good story. And he's an interesting guy, clear, concise.
Yes.
Passionate. His first video that, he puts the camera out there, it's only him shooting it.
Yeah.
In front of the water on a nice day down here in the Northwest. And he resonates.
Yeah, he does. Definitely.
So.
He captured my attention right away. So, and he has other videos before he became a flat earther on his channel. So check out D Marble channel. It's D period and then the word marble. So, I guess that wraps up another exciting adventure of the Secret Show, the What's in the Box episode. Yep. And we had some good stuff in the box. Let's check out the my thing behind us. It's still bling blinging back there.
Yep.
Although you can't see it because it's too far away. But it says the Earth is flat, and I'll be hanging that up soon.
I could juggle these better, but they're from China. No, they have no weight to them. So like this one, oh yeah, way better. I could juggle 3 of these things all day.
We need 3 microphones.
Even though there's only one of these involved, it feels better. Although it's heavier and it's throwing me off.
Mark, you know what you are? You're lovable.
I don't know that. Oh, look, it's a cat toy.
One of my cats, Greer, just perked up when you made that noise. Well, thanks to everybody in the live show who's been here enjoying this festival of craziness. We hope we didn't get too depressing, but we're just talking about what's going on. And I'm sure we missed some really great stories and emails and conversation in chat, but we can't hit on them all. What do you have coming up this week that people need to know about?
One thing I can't tell you, unfortunately. I can't say
have to kill me?
Yeah, well, I don't know yet. I'm not supposed to say.
Is it cool?
It is, but we'll have to see how it goes.
All right.
I'm excited about it, but it is Flat Earth related.
Ooh.
And it's 24th. I'm doing the new license plates over the weekend, and another Q&A show, and hopefully get Strange World back up next week. So
the beat goes on.
Yeah, we're banging the drum. Oh yeah, and also for people, the numbers are still climbing. In fact, if you type in Flat Earth right now, even though they did the numbers squish a little while ago, you just type in Flat Earth without filters, 5 million. That's just in general. And when you go to my upload date, we are at 17.1. So I may have to compare that to other mainstream topics, but I'm betting it's bigger than a lot of people.
Well, I want to thank everyone who's been in the live chat, like I said earlier, and just want to say hello to Kristen Wolf, who's joined us a little late, and a couple other people, including Amin and CVH, who I didn't see earlier. And I appreciate everyone being there. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, we will see you again. What?
No, you know. No, so I'm just saying, Flat Earth's coming at 17, Donald Trump's coming in at 18.
And we don't even have a toupee, and we're pretty
exactly. We have no marketing dollars, and we're doing that.
Yay, Flat Earth!
Go Flat Earth!
All right, see you next time. For Mark Sargent and myself, keep it flat.